I've been in the van for about a year, and now's the time to tell you that I'm struggling. It's a little bit of a chilly morning in San Diego. Obviously, I'm wearing a hoodie right now, which is unheard of until the end of the year, so I'm gonna go get some coffee before I go to work. So here's the thing that I struggle with. Essentially, I owned a gym for 10 years. I had really good healthy habits. As soon as I moved into the van, I injured myself, causing myself to not work out as much, and I still ate somewhat healthy, but I didn't eat enough. In the past year that I've been in a van, I've lost 15 pounds of muscle, and I am mentally struggling because coming from bodybuilding to CrossFit to now van life, I struggle with something called body dysmorphia. And when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't see what I used to see. So if you see, I used to weigh 240 pounds. I was in the bodybuilding world. I used to be in CrossFit, which obviously that's the best way to go if you want to be just jacked and super lean and be very competitive and athletic. And now there's me today, which I weigh like 175 pounds, and it's messing with my mind because I went from 240 to 195, a very healthy 195, to now I'm just surviving. So for me, van life is somewhat in an unhealthy track right now, and the reason behind that is the first week that I was in San Diego, I was actually at an event with a bunch of people, really cool people, called Van Jam. That's what it was called. And basically what happened, we went rock climbing, basically bouldering and jumping over some really cool things, and I was helping some people get across this little gap area that it was kind of sketchy. And so once everybody had passed, it was my turn. I ran, I jumped. It was that type of rock that pretty much when you land on it or walk on it rough, it kind of gives way and it turns into gravel. So I did that, I slid, I fell down about a 15-foot gap, landed on my ankle, it twisted, I heard an audible pop, and everyone knew that I was in pain, but the adrenaline allowed me to finish the day. I actually kept climbing, walked back, which probably wasn't a good idea because when I finally woke up in the morning, my ankle was the size of my head. It was huge, and luckily one of my friends was there and she was helping me out with a bunch of like, let me get you this, or let me help you walk there. I'm going to tighten the heck out of your boots because I've got these really tall boots that if you tighten them up, I can actually walk. But for the most part, that's what caused me to not be able to continue with training hard and eating well. I still ate healthfully. It just wasn't what I was used to, because when you're training very hard, like I was training 2 to 3 hours a day for 10 years straight, I was eating about 5,000 calories a day, and I knew that if I continued 5,000 calories a day without training that hard, I would immediately gain a ton of fat, basically. Now, when you put it into the terms of now I'm not training very hard, how much should I eat? I've never been on that personally myself. It was almost like I was dieting, which caused me to watch my calories. I'm not eating enough. And then I started working at UDO, in which I ate breakfast and I ate dinner, and I had never realized when my clients said that they're too busy during the day and they just forget to eat, I had never been able to actually realize that that was a thing until I started working at UDO, because I get here, I start working, I look up at the clock and it's 5 o'clock and I haven't eaten lunch or I haven't had any snacks or done anything that was actually healthy for the day other than work, you know? I can't tell you how many times I've thought I turned that burner on, but I've turned that burner on. I've actually melted some plastic before, but that just happened you may see that in the video. You'll see me switch the pans. So one of the things that actually makes van life very difficult for me to form healthy habits is the fact that when I built my van, I did not think about having time to meal prep. So I'm used to meal prepping. I cook big amounts of food and I use about 3 or 4 burners at a time. Well, currently I have 2 burners and I only use 1 at a time usually, just so I can save power, because electric induction probably wasn't the best route to go when building a van. Next one is actually going to be a gas one. Also, this is all of my cutting space. This is just for breakfast and it's already taken over. So sometimes what I do is I set stuff over here and I forget about it, and then last minute I have to throw it in when it's not supposed to be there, or just throw it on the bed, kind of like these are. Which I don't want food sitting on my bed. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want food on my bed. So I don't have a bunch of room to like prep foods, throw it in here, cook it. And the next thing is I did go with a little bit larger fridge, but there's really not enough space. So this is the fridge. It's kind of empty right now. I just have chocolate milk. I drink this after my workouts because there's protein and carbs, lots of water. I've got butter. There's a lot of fruit in here. This is steak. And then down here is where all the condiments and some more breakfast and sandwich stuff, more apples. There's a couple bits of alcohol in there, peanut butter whiskey if you guys like it. Coors Light, that's Sarah's. She told me to buy that and didn't drink it. But when I meal prep, I'm pretty much making food for 7 days straight. That is a lot of food, because if I have to do it twice a week, it's very difficult now because I am working full time and I'm not allowing myself a whole bunch of time outside of work to just relax, mainly because I'm focusing on multiple jobs right now. So I've got van building. I have a side business where I help people build vans as well that has nothing to do with UDO. That's my side project. I'm also a content creator, which means I'm making videos, I'm planning videos, I'm answering emails, I'm working with brands, doing a bunch of different things. And I'm also starting a brand new business that I can't talk about yet, but eventually you will know about something very exciting that is going to be happening. And it's kind of secretive right now. Only a couple people know about it. Only a few people know I have this, and we're working on it. We're working on it, but it is van life related, let me tell you that. So we're working on some crazy stuff, meaning I'm only going to give 1 day. So meal prepping, if I could do it, would be on Sunday because that's my most relaxed day. The other days, pretty much I just cook breakfast every morning, and then I eat lunch around 1 or 2 o'clock. And then later in the day, I usually go to Chipotle, or I cook steak, or anything that I can do to get a good meal in. You'll notice I'm not wearing a hoodie anymore. It's because it's gotten a little warmer in here, mainly because I don't have the fan on, but also in San Diego, it's kind of chilly in the morning. And then also in the morning, about an hour later, it's pretty hot. It's warm, but it's perfect weather for a van lifer. So if you are a van lifer, you need to make your way to San Diego at least once, hang out. Summer, winter, rain, which rarely happens, but sunshine always out here. That's why they call it a sunshine tax. Wow, it's hard to say that, but apparently in California, just to live here, they tax the hell out of you because it's always sunny. Which, that TV show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, should have been It's Always Sunny in California, because they definitely pay for it out here. My gas cost $180 the other day. Not even to fill it up. The thing just stopped. The pump stopped at $180, and I was like, let me get some more gas, and I had to put my card back in. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, California. Gavin Newsom, do better. I think Gavin Newsom's, I don't know anything about California other than the fact that I'm here for right now. So now it's time to talk about this. Sorry about that rant that I just went on, but I'm gonna sit on my toilet in my shower and eat my breakfast while I talk to you. So van life, honestly, is not unhealthy. It's just been unhealthy for me. Why has it been unhealthy for me? Because I have struggled creating those habits like I talked about. I've never really understood the fact that people just have to do some crazy stuff all day and they don't think about fitness all day, which now that I'm building cool rigs all day and I am not in the fitness world, it's very hard for me to create those healthy habits with this space allotted. Like I showed you guys, it's very limited on cutting space and prep space, cook space, storage space. So I also don't have a microwave. If I were to prep, I'm just going to eat cold food all the time. And if I were to find a microwave, it wouldn't be in here, it would be at the shop, but we don't have one there. Or I can go to a gas station, which causes a lot of very unnecessary stress in order to just get a warm meal. So I usually cook all of my meals that day or a couple of days in advance, and it's usually not an entire meal. It's like one thing, to where I cook like steak for 2 or 3 days, or I'll cook some chicken that'll last a couple days. I never cook rice for multiple days because it ends up getting all crunchy and gross, especially if you can't microwave it. But after 6 months, my ankle was healed up and I was able to train. So it was around August, which around my birthday was about the time that I was actually able to start hitting some really good weight, which was 2 months ago. And now I am about 2 weeks into training very hard. I'm on that new program that I'm doing right now, eating healthy breakfasts. I'm going to be limiting my coffee and caffeine intake, which is why 3 days a week I'm getting coffee. I have a uncaffeinated pre-workout, so I have to have pre-workout to work out at 5 o'clock. If you guys work out at 5 o'clock, how do you do it? San Diego is so full of people to the point where you have to stand in line for machines, and I hate it. So after work, I end up hanging out in the parking lot, and I play Call of Duty on my phone, and then I go into workout around 8 o'clock finally. And by that time, I'm just tired and I don't want to do it. Luckily, the non-caffeinated pre-workout doesn't affect the way that I sleep because I already sleep like crap. My habits aren't good right now. Remember that I don't fall asleep. Like last night, I didn't fall asleep until 2:30 in the morning because I was up watching a TV show called Lucifer on Netflix. And it's a good show, by the way, and I recommend it. Let's just say that it's not what you would expect. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, they're going to make a show about Satan, about the devil. And it's actually, yes, it is about that, but he's a detective, kind of. I don't know. It's hard to explain. He's kind of a detective. He's not a detective, but just watch it. That's all I've got to say. So, cheers. I've already eaten half. So you may be asking yourself, why are you making a video about how unhealthy van life is when it's really just you having poor habits and falling off of your routine? Well, the whole point of my channel is to help other people, whether it's building vans, teaching them how to do some things, or if it's just keeping accountability. And maybe you're a first-time van lifer or you've been in it for a while and you struggle with the same thing because you may have had a really good routine outside of the van, but as soon as you moved in, it was very difficult to figure out how to adjust to the lifestyle. And so I'm here to help you, and I wish I could have accountability. So if you're watching this and you are in the same boat, let's work together. Comment. I'm going to be posting a lot more about the fitness journey in van life because there's not a lot of people talking about like health and wellness in van life. It's more about travel and this is where you should go and what you should do, or this is how you build stuff, which is my channel. But there's not a lot of people about like, are you okay? Is your mind right? Is your body right? Because a lot of the times what you eat, that's medicine. There's an old saying is let thy food be thy medicine, and that is true. So when I'm eating, like literally there's not a lot of unhealthy things in my van. It's just I personally am not eating to what I have for myself set goals. You may not be eating anything. You may be going to In-N-Out, which is really good, but you're not probably going to be wanting to do that every day. So it's all about accountability. So comment below if you feel this way or you have noticed you are slacking on some of your routines. We're here to help each other. If we're not living the human life. We're supposed to help each other. I fully believe that. So I'm going to leave that at that. That was it for today's video. If you feel that way, comment below, like I said. Also, if you're not on the Patreon, join the Patreon. We're going to be doing an interactive van build where you can actually help me decide on what type of van I'm building. If you didn't know that, I'm getting a brand new van. This van is going to be for sale very soon after I do all the touch-ups with all the nicks and dents. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, after living in it, I'm going to fix some things up. Also, I'm a much better van builder now, so I'm going to change some things about this because there's exposed screws and stuff. I'm going to pop some nails in those, fill them with putty, paint it up, make it look real nice. Fix the water system. The reason I don't use my shower as often is because there's a wall leak behind it, or there's a leak behind the wall, and so it's just shut off at the valve. It kind of sucks. But maybe that'll be a series, me fixing up my van. Yeah, that'll be a series. All right, so join the Patreon. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and I will see you all in the next video. This is the last cup of coffee for the week. It's Wednesday.